Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Thank you so much for once again joining us on Tuesday, this wonderful Tuesday evening. My name is Nicholas Vaselli. I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And on behalf of all of our artists, I want to cordially welcome all of you to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' second hybrid Playmakers Intensive, or HPI 2, live and in person. For any of you that have seen our intensives in the past, I don't need to explain to you how very important and special they are to us, because the intensives allow us to really connect with so many artists from wherever they are. It's an opportunity to be able to really have a great meeting of the minds over the great distances from wherever you are in the world. And I think the work that we have been creating these past several years has been incredibly important to our company, and also in allowing us to expand our reach and the depth and breadth of artistry within the world. I hope you were able to join us last evening. We had a wonderful show written by Elise Allen, and I have to apologize to all of you who were tuning in, and also to all of our artists for some technical difficulties. I think we've nailed it, and everything will be fine tonight. So without any further ado, I want to introduce this really wonderful and fascinating play. I can't wait to talk about it afterwards. This play was written by a very dear friend and a longtime TBTB company member, Peter Mark. Pete has written for us. I like to consider him in so many ways a Renaissance man, because he does so many things, as well, writing and music and all different types of performing, as well as technical. And his mind is quite amazing. So we're looking forward to his show tonight, our latest offering, which is titled Telegraph Wire and the Fable of the Flagman. Wonderful cast. First of all, the play is directed to perfection by Tamar Kummel. I mentioned Tamar. You'll see her several other times through this week, but you have certainly seen her work as a director before, and she's also performing as well. So you're going to get to see a lot of different facets of another great artist. And a stellar cast, of course. Why would it be otherwise? Shravan, Amin, Ben Rauch, Jack Sims. Perfection. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to let the actors do their thing. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy Peter Mark's Telegraph Wire and the Fable of the Flagman.
Hey, I am Ben Rauch, and I am playing Daniel, and also a soldier.
Hi, I'm Jack Sims. I'm playing Fred, a semaphore signalman.
Hi, I'm Shravan Amin, and I'm playing Jimmy, a telegraph operator.
Scene 1. Image of a tall tower made of lashed-together logs. It stands high on a mountainside. On a distant hilltop, across a valley, is another tower.
Come on, answer back.
Fred stands on the mountainside tower, his semaphore flags at his feet. He holds a slate and a piece of chalk. He watches the flagman in the tower across the valley spell out one letter at a time.
P-R-O-O-P-S, ready, R-A-D-Y-S-E, ready, set.
The scratchy sound of the chalk on the slate.
Okay, troops, ready, set.
He picks up his flags and echoes the message.
T-R-O-P-S-R-E-A-D-Y-S-E-T.
He watches.
Come on, answer back already.
The distant signaler in the hilltop tower replies.
O-E-W-A-I-T, await, O-R-D, all right, await's on it.
He writes the reply, then puts the slate in its pouch.
I'll have to get this to the telegraph office.
He starts down the ladder. The wind howls.
Look at those clouds, black as night. Yeah, hurry up.
Sound of a galloping horse. Scene 2. In a radio shack, a telegraph key clicks. A door opens.
Hey,
Wait.
The young coder taps the telegraph key.
15:30 out. Full stop. Okay, now what?
to Commander Smith, troops ready, set.
The young telegraph coder writes on his slate.
Troops ready, set. Troops or troop?
Troops.
Sound of the tapping of the key.
Sent and done.
Okay, I'll wait for the reply.
Semaphore. It's so old-fashioned. Waving flags to communicate? Telegraph. This is the future.
You're stuck in this room. I'm mobile, some logs and a rope. I can build a tower anywhere.
But I got distance. Washington is 200 miles away. Stuck in a room? This wire reaches all the way to Boston. Boston! You know how far that is?
I only know as far as I can see, and I can see pretty far.
3 weeks on a good horse on a clear road. But I can go there in 2 seconds.
Time, distance, they matter little to me. I have always only been here. All I know is Boston is that way, and I am out all day and in all night, and you should look a person in the eye when you're talking to them.
Look in the eyes? You can't see their eyes. They're miles away on another hilltop.
Yeah, maybe, but I can tell how they are, tell by the way they signal.
And me too. I can tell a coder by how they tap. Their speed, their phrasing. It's hard to describe.
I understand.
But this telegraph, this is the future. Your old man ways are over. I have speed and reliability.
Well, I have reliability. All I need to do is wait and watch and remember how to spell.
Fred pulls his chalkboard on the desktop.
Nice slate.
Military grade.
Dit, 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 dit comes through the headset.
Your answer. They say, all troops target Cantown. Attack on Commander Smith's discret ion?
Discretion.
Oh.
Fred writes the message and puts the chalkboard away.
They have a lot of men set and ready. I guess they're expecting a big fight. Oh, this war stinks like old fish.
Scene 3. A door closes. The gusty wind tugs at the signaler's hat. Sound of a galloping horse. Scene 4. Jimmy peeks out his half-open door. There's a rumble of thunder in the distance.
Those are some dark clouds.
A powerful gust stretches a large maple tree branch. It snaps with a loud crack.
Wow, what was that?
He pushes the door full open against the wind and sees that the fallen branch has pulled down the telegraph wire from the pole.
Oh, no.
Image of Jimmy climbing the pole with a loop of cable on his shoulder. Scene 5.
ALLIN. Yeah, you got it. All in. Our boys will ferret those rats out of Cat Town. They think they can hide there. Their command center is dust.
Scene 6. Sound of the shack door closing against the wind.
That was too hard. Way too hard.
The headset squeaks on the table.
Hey, what's that?
He taps the key.
READY. Come on, ready.
The message restarts.
Air last. Troops should stand down. Cantown incorrect target. Target is Newtonville. Stand down. Third attempt, no response. Third try? Oh no, I had to get to the tower. Message received. 15:30 out.
Sound of the slamming shack door. Image of Jimmy running. Scene 7.
Fred!
Image of Fred on his horse, looking backwards at Jimmy.
Fred!
Oh! What is up, boy?
It was wrong. The troops should stand down. It is the wrong city. Signal them to stand down.
Stand down? Wrong city?
The first message was wrong. It's supposed to be Newtonville, not Cantown.
Damn, those fools! You keep running, boy. You keep going until you get to where the path intersects the Broadway, then go towards the setting sun. Get a message to Commander Smith.
Scene 8. Image of the Flagman climbing down the tower. The dark clouds are closing in.
Come on, I see you there. Come on. Signal back. Come on.
Thunder booms.
Okay, you see me. Here we go. STAN.
Lightning strikes the distant tower.
No!
The tower tumbles down the hillside.
Oh, God, help us.
Sounds of galloping. Scene 9. The old man catches up to Jimmy on the trail.
Did you tell them? Did you tell them to stand down?
The hilltop tower has fallen. There's no one left to tell. I'm going to ride ahead.
Image of the rider speeding off. The horse's hoofs kick up the dust. Jimmy runs behind. Scene 10. Image of Fred on his horse, stopped at the intersection. The troops march lazily east, away from Cantown. Jimmy, in the distance, approaching.
Oh, no. Are we too late? Hey, soldier! Soldier!
Yeah, what?
Fred, did you tell them?
Soldier, did you get the message? It is not Cantown?
Cantown. Cantown is gone. We barely slowed our march. Not much of a command post. There's nothing now.
Nothing?
Survivors?
Survivors. There's no one left. They didn't even fight back.
This is my fault. The wire came down. It's my fault. But by the time I got it reconnected, I missed 3 messages. It took me time to fix it. The telegraph failed. I failed. But innocent people are dead because I failed.
Jimmy presses his face against the horse. He stomps his feet. Fred reaches down and touches the young man's head.
It is not your fault. I failed too. I thought I could always signal that my ways were best. But then the tower fell. It fell when we needed it most.
Maybe the future is not reliable. Maybe it doesn't even work.
Your ways don't work either. And who cares how? Wave a flag, tap a key, print it to a book. If we're spreading lies, if we're spreading mistakes, then how we do it does not matter. It's not how we communicate. It is the message that we send.
The end.
Wow. Oh boy, oh boy. What an amazing show. How dynamic that was. Everybody, please come on again. Thank you all so much. Tamar, our wonderful director, Ben, Rauch, Shravan, Amin. Oh my God, Jack Sims. Where's Pete? Pete, where are you? Got to get on here. There we go. Oh boy. That was amazing. I have to tell you guys how incredibly thrilling and dynamic that was. It was just such great storytelling. And I think Tamar, it was so well directed. I mean, it just was so clean and clear. And
Thank you.
yeah, I really, really loved it. And I loved, thank you so much for sharing this with our audience. What an incredible experience. I have to start with, it always starts with the words. So let's start with you, Pete. I've had the great good fortune of knowing you for a long time, and I've had the opportunity to not only perform in, but to see a lot of the work that you have created over the years. And you have just such an incredible, how can I say, such a unique perspective and a great take on how to create theater. This particular piece did not have a lot of visual elements to it. I don't think the visual elements were particularly necessary. But what I loved about it was the pacing of it and the way and the urgency of it. And then, of course, the message of it. So how did you come up with this? How did you come up with this particular idea of these two men who have to communicate using flags and Morse code and all of that, and that being the wave of the future? How did this come to your mind?
Oh, well, first off, Nick, thank you very much for having us, and I appreciate all the work you do to put this together. And sorry for your mom, and that's very sad, but that's life, and we move on. And how it got started was when you put this group together. I knew Ben, I didn't know these other folks, and we all met in a room, and I asked them about technology and what they knew from before and what was the oldest thing they had ever seen. And Ben mentioned that he saw a telegraph set up, a telegraph key. And I don't know where the rest of it came from. It's just when that just sparked something in my mind, and the whole thing about miscommunications and nowadays, like, the nerds are using open AI, but back then the nerds were using Telegraph, and it's kind of still the same thing, the old guy and the young guy, and the battle of the ages. But writing is kind of a quiet, silent thing, and I just sat down, and actually the next morning I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, and I just put down the kernel of the story, and then day by day worked on it a little more, and then shared it with Tamar, and then it just grew out of that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's just so exciting to hear that and the process by which you started it. Just to reconfirm, this group of artists, I did not put anyone together. This was just fate. This was all such a random occurrence, drawing a name out of a hat, drawing your name out of a hat, drawing Tamar's name, and then drawing the three actors to be a part of it.
Yeah, I was dealt a really nice hand.
You were dealt an incredible hand. I have
Yeah.
to say, everybody, all of you were just such amazing artists, and to take this work and to really create something very special with it was it's just amazing, and it's so much fun to see how it all unfolds. Tamar, I want to talk to you because I know that I don't know if you've ever directed anything quite like this before, and I just want to compliment you first and foremost because the pacing of it and the energy and the ability to sort of really corral this and focus it. It moved so well. It was very gripping. The whole it was, and it just said so much. Tell me about that experience.
Well, Ben helped because he was talking about when they originally did radio shows, they, you had a live audience. You could see the actors. And I was thinking about, as an actor, I've done some live performances of radio shows. So I had to go back to that and think, okay, so what do you see? What do you hear? What does Peter want? And then try and figure out the best way to make it exciting as it was happening, So, because it's such a short amount of time to create this whole world.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, I got 3 great guys, so that made it easy.
I thought it was just so really so dynamic. And Pete, I notice I know lately, especially, a lot of times you have a narrator or someone who is sort of setting things up, and also you don't incorporate sound effects into this, or I know you've experimented with sound effects in the past, and you've used a lot of sometimes a musical underscoring of things. I'm just curious why you do that now. Like what's your thought process for that?
I think because the sound effect I can make is never going to be as good as what I hopefully can put in someone's head, and they can hear it themselves the way they think it should be. And it's just been my goal lately with the videos, with the images and the sounds the same, to try to draw a picture inside somebody's head, or to make them hear something inside their head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that really, again, so fascinating, because with, as you say, with sound effects, you have someone else choosing a sound and imposing it. And so that's the sound that the audience will hear, and that's it. When you just say sound of horse galloping, we have to use our minds to actively process that. And for all of us, that's a different thing. I mean, I'm sure we can agree on some similarities, but I think ultimately to be able to hand that to an audience so that they can possess that and create all of that all those pictures in their own heads is quite extraordinary. And again, especially for our company, because when you are working with audiences that are blind, low vision, and also deaf, hard of hearing, trying to come to a term where you can create something that will work for everybody is always a challenge. But I think you all managed to capture that so beautifully. All right, now let me ask these really wonderful actors, and I want to start with you, Shravan, because I've worked with you a few times in the past. I think you are so incredibly talented. I think you have a wonderful flair for comedy, although the comedy was not part of what we did tonight.
Right.
But yet just the interplay and the dynamic that you had with Jack was really quite extraordinary. And it was just great to be able to sort of see how good you are, just a natural talent. You're so really wonderful. What was this experience like for you? I think, sorry, I don't want to date you, but you're younger. And I know that in our world today, we talk a lot about communication and technology. And tell me how you thought, or what you were thinking as you were working on this.
I mean, I'm wise. I'm young. I am young, but I'm older than I used to be. Obviously, we're all older than we used to be. That was a weird statement. But my point is that I'm no longer in the mindset of like, oh, this is the modern way and this is the better way. I used to be like that. I used to be a little bit more arrogant. And my dad would tell me, like, he's an engineer and he would use these tools. And I'm like, well, why don't we just, like look it up on Google or something? He's like, no, we can figure it out ourselves or stuff like that. And but it was fun going back into that mindset. And it's easy to do when the writing is so clear and kind of just the characters have such a strong point of view that it's easy to just fall into it and then just be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why, like you said, it starts with the writing. So yeah, and it's just fun to play in a universe where we don't have anything. Like there's no lights, there's no sounds, there's no special effects, or it's not on stage. So we have to rely on our imagination. And when you do that, you can do more than you can do on stage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. I agree with you. I think, at one point I would almost be tempted to tell our audience, close your eyes when you experience this work. But doing that also would deprive them of getting an opportunity to see. I mean, they'll feel your energy, of course, and they'll hear it in your voice, but to be able to see how you're playing with each other, and how without even saying a word, it just registers on your face, the sense of urgency, the sense of maybe a bit of arrogance about your
Right.
old fashioned, and this is something this is the future, you know. I find that also so very interesting, and that's where I feel the visual, especially on this this particular platform, it really allows us, because every face is right here, so it gives us a chance to really see how it all interplays. Really, really wonderful work, extraordinary. So Jack, again, for you, what are your thoughts? Tell me how what it was like from the very beginning of this experience through to tonight.
Well, as you well know, I have my own difficulties with technology, so it was easy to embrace that part of it. As I worked on it, I must admit that the world in which we live now, and the turmoil that's going on around it, as I did it, I was thinking, who is ultimately responsible for this massive screw up? And it even starts before us. It starts before us because Jimmy was given the wrong message.
Right.
So I think just that what I'm doing, we're just all I've had him trying to defend himself against the Telegraph was a little desperate. You really were kind of it was sort of, you're sort of woofing in the dark about trying to say my way is as good as your way. It was it was hard to deflect. Boston is 200 miles away, but it was it's just try to have somebody who's beset but's trying to hold up his end. That's how I approached it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting too, and I always try to compare what this play is telling us today. What this play, which takes place so many years ago, it tells a modern audience, an audience with a different sensibility. I think in many cases the song remains the same. Technology is a wonderful thing. The tools of technology are wonderful. However, are we controlling are those tools? Are we controlling those tools, or are those tools controlling us? And when we become so heavily reliant on them, and they fail us, because they do and will ultimately at some point fail us, how do we cope? How do we carry on? And the one thing about this story, which we have this wonderful moment where Fred and Jimmy and of course the other soldier are all in meeting face to face, and they are receiving news in person and having to deal with that news, and to be able to comfort each other, or to express that in person, which ultimately to me is always the best form of communication between human beings, is the one that when you're together, when you're in the same place. So I found it just so fascinating. But I have to talk to you, Ben, because you had a really incredible job of sort of narrating this, pulling us along. Again, so well done. The pacing of it, because so much of it relies on your pacing and the way your phrasing, how you say your words, really, really wonderful. And then stepping out of it to become this soldier that delivers the bad news that, yeah, too late, everybody's dead. We killed a lot of innocent people. Yeah. Tell me about that. Tell me about this experience. And tell me about this experience also from from the modern sensibility, because I know that there's a lot of that going on. I think there's some things that are happening in our world today, which in some ways mirror that.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that it's great to work with these guys. Many of them worked before, and Tamar gave me permission to do this. You know, she suggested this, vocal, almost melody, but allowing the highs and lows and the grit and the rhythms. And I want to say this because people don't know this, but when Peter writes a script, it's not in regular script form. And I'm saying this as a cool thing because very often we read scripts and we're so used to the same format, and it's got a script this way, right? It's got the line this way, and it does something to you as an actor that it's a pattern because you've always seen the words like that. So his script is kind of like, it's not in a PDF, right? And he writes it the way his mind, like what he's doing for the audience, he writes it, right? Whatever's coming up creatively. So as an actor, when you read it that way, you first go like, how do I read this? And then it does something to you that takes you out of your own pattern, I feel like that, which is what we're always trying to do as an actor. We're always trying to not do the same type of vocal rhythm. And like, as I'm talking naturally now, what we're trying to do, there's different speeds and I'm getting excited and I'm, getting sentimental and there's all these things. And it's really actually amazing to read it like that. And I think it's important to say that because this is how it comes out for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to get to talk about this, I mean, this is like, sorry, go ahead.
No. Please continue. You kind of froze.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So yeah, I mean.
No. Please continue. You kind of froze there.
Right, exactly. So this is like we're talking about with communication, like, oh my God, I'm talking over Nick. It's so rude, right? That we had this moment, right? And you and I have known each other for years. Whatever you do, I don't think it's coming from a bad place. But for me, that was like, oh my God, I'm talking over him. Am I talking too much? And this is the thing we're talking about with communication. There was a glitch in the system for a second. Right, but like that could be the end of a friendship, right? For some people, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the news that it's very. I'm like almost being traumatized by it because so many things are not being reported. You can't learn history from TikTok, and these 30-second things, and it's it could possibly be the downfall of our society because we're not sitting in front of each other, talking, and I'm hoping that and that's what theater does. It forces us to like talk and get in front of each other and for people to hear us. I listened to a podcast today. It's so weird because it relates to this of like the development of the most amazing like moments in history. And at first it was like language, which is hieroglyphics. And then the second one was like the invention of the alphabet, and the next one was like writing on scrolls. And then it just like did all these things. And it said and then the printing press. And then now with this instantaneous communication from all over the world. And I can call my mom every day though. So I'm happy. Hi Mom, if you're watching.
While you were talking,
it's interesting though, but I think the moral of the story was, it doesn't matter how you communicate, it matters what you're communicating. And Nick, you said something about killing all those innocent people. The people who killed them didn't know they were innocent. The message never got to the soldiers. Now, what's going to happen when the soldiers find out that they have slaughtered people who did, because they don't know that. Mm-hmm. And the very last thing I say is, you can say it standing on your head, you can use flags, you can write it down, but what you say, what the message is the main thing.
Yes, I think it's all true. Just so you know, we did have a little bit of a glitch before, Ben, and as you were talking, you were talking and your voice was behind the video, but it finally caught up to you, so that's great. and I loved what you said. And Jack, I absolutely love what you said. I think human beings, we always forget one simple fact, one simple truth. We are animals. Okay. We have a great computer we carry on our shoulders that is able to process things. We've been able to create the world we live in so many ways. The computer we carry on our brains or on our shoulders betrays us at the best of times, because it oftentimes is thinking to save us and to protect us, and it goes in 25 different directions, and it oftentimes blocks out what we feel, the instinct, the gut feeling, what most animals go by, but we often can get overridden by our brains. Okay. This is why I feel being in person with someone allows you, even if you don't speak the same language, you're able to just the vibration, the energy that you're giving off. People can sort of tell what's happening. We always talk about how when you have an audience sitting watching a play, they've done scientific studies where an audience's heartbeat will actually synchronize based on what they're experiencing. That is a physiological change that occurs through something that goes beyond our mental capacity or control. Words are very important, and they are beautiful, and they're our principal means of communication, but they are a crude tool because words also can be twisted and misinterpreted and reinterpreted. And the ability to just be and experience each other is really, to me, so important. It's also, I think, so important because of what we do and what we're attempting to do on this medium, on this cutting edge technology, that we can create something that can reach out and grab someone, that they can feel it, that goes beyond just a mental processing of it, or saying, yeah, well, it was good, but it didn't have this, or why didn't they do that? Or it's like, no, this is it. And taking this work on that very level, it just was captivating. It was really, really captivating. And that, to me, is just superior work with all of you. Just the way you've all communicated and connected is just a great, great gift. So thank you for all of that. Do you guys have any other thoughts, parting thoughts? I want to give you a little break before the next show. So, because we're going to start our next show on time tonight, 8:30, and I want to make sure you all have a little bit of a break. And we'll pick up this conversation on the back end of the second show. Any thoughts?
I just want to say one thing, the new type of technology you're talking about, the thing that we have now, I guess you could have done it with books too, but people take somebody's video and they could take something out of context and make it sound like something else. And we're also talking about, deep fakes now, where someone could put, a Donald Trump face on and say something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be just like him. He's already saying something crazy, and they'd be like, it must be him.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. I was always told the technology, by the time it reaches this consumer level, that's us, it's already way outdated. We are not receiving cutting edge technology. To us, it's cutting edge, but it is already like 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead. Military use, it's already far superior. So the use of AI, the use of all of that is sort of old hat. We've talked about it for years, and now we're finally getting a chance to experience it on a consumer level.
Well, Nick, I didn't want to tell you, but I'm not actually Tamar. I am AI. She's off on vacation somewhere, and she just created me for tonight. But I think she's doing a good job.
Yeah, I knew you were a little too perfect. That's the problem.
Well, we see technology is making reality surreal.
Yeah, it really, it very much is. I don't know what else to say. I keep trying to think we're moving way too fast. I don't know if that's true. I know that it feels that way to me sometimes, because when I look at the progress of technology over like between 1930 and today, and while there were a lot of technological advances between, say, 1930 and 2010, for example, it seems that when we hit 2010, the technology started rapidly just developing at a much faster pace. So when you can look back and say, oh yeah, this was the 90s, this was before smartphones, this was before everybody had a computer, this was before social media. And that's not that long ago. Now to someone who's born today, that's long ago, but it's when you think about the 1930s, my grandparents had a telephone that they were able to, there was a party line, they were able to call their neighbors and friends. That was a big innovation. In the 70s, growing up, we had a telephone, no more party line, but it was the same technology. Nothing really, the design of the phone maybe changed, but the basic premise remained the same. In all of this, it's just advancing. So it does beg the question, are we controlling this technology or is it controlling us? So I find it really fascinating. And how does that ultimately affect humanity? How does that ultimately affect us when we have so much out there, when we're being bombarded, when you turn on a television and you have 400 channels to choose from instead of 3.
And still nothing on.
But yet you sit there, flip, or, oh, you'll stream, I'll stream. Oh, good luck streaming, because when you turn on the streaming, you just get a box with a little boxes and menus. You spend your night not watching a program, but trying to scroll through all of your choices. So it's a different world. I don't know. I just think there are some things I think we do need to return to, and the return to being together, taking time to just be with each other, to have shared common experiences in person, not virtually all the time. I think there's ways of doing it. There's got to be balance. Yes. This is virtual. Please disagree with me. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me.
We have to go back to semaphore.
Yeah. Well, we could. I don't know if I want to go back to semaphore. I also don't necessarily think it's right to go back to the 50s. Okay, guys, that's not where I'm talking. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I just think this is why the work that we do as artists, as performing artists, is so important. So thank you. Does anyone else have any other thoughts before I wrap this up? Okay, well then I think you all deserve you should have a well-deserved break, and I will wrap this up and say thank you all so much for such an incredible show. You know what? I loved it so much. I can't wait for the second show at 8:30, and I hope that everyone out there will do the same thing. I want to thank all of you so much for taking the time to be with us this evening. It was, again, such a joy to spend time with all of you. We hope that you will come back and see us for the rest of the rest of the week. We have a show every evening until Saturday, virtually online. And then on Sunday's a big night, because we are actually going to commence with the in-person portion of our show. And even the in-person will be streamed to you live. So even if you can't be there in person, you'll still get a chance to experience it. Tomorrow we have another wonderful piece of work. The play tomorrow night was written by Robin Carmen Marshall. Robin is such an incredible teacher, an incredible playwright, an incredible actor, so multi-talented. So we will be presenting her latest offering to us, the play called No Sandwich for Me, Please. It is directed to perfection by Anne Marie Morelli. And we have sorry, everyone, I keep using the word stellar, but I can't think of another word. Fantastic, stupendous cast: Marianne Conk, Christopher Hurt, and Estrella Tamez. we look forward to you coming to see us tomorrow evening, 7:30 right here on YouTube, and then again 8:30 on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for your time. Please continue to support our work. Go to our website, tbtb.org. You can see everything that's going on with us. If you really love us, please click the donate button at the top of the page. We always welcome your support. We take it very seriously. We don't look at it as just a donation. We look at it as a partnership, a contract. We want to be able to involve you in our work and not just say, yes, we're a good cause. We are a good cause, but it's also a bigger picture. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll see you maybe in 15 minutes or tomorrow evening. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Pete.
I hope my guys are still here. Oh yeah.
You're on your own, so you're by your lonesome there, Pete.
Ben, are you there?
Mentally or actually on. Yes, I'm here.